my god, hi.
I have a really awful, really terrible, really horrible confession to make to you guys. I would say that, you know, you and me, the 30 of us, we're friends. We're friendly. I feel like I can confess secrets to you. So I'm gonna tell you a secret and you have to promise not to tell anyone, because if you tell anybody about this secret that I am about to tell you, I will cry.
I am not lying.
I swear, I will cry. So picture this, me, January of 2020. I went into the year wide-eyed and hopeful, and I went on the good old goodreads.com and I saw that I could make a new reading challenge for the new year. And I was like, oh, how exciting. And I wrote down that I wanted to read 40 books in the year of 2020. I don't know, I love to push the odds. I love to just be ambitious and go above and beyond. So that's why I decided to do 40 books as a goal for my Goodreads reading challenge. Let's look at how far I've gotten on that reading challenge. This is the secret part, so don't tell anyone about this because it's embarrassing. I have read 18 of the 40 books I'm supposed to read. I am 13 books I am 13 books behind schedule.
Speechless.
2020 ends in like 2 months, and I somehow have to read 22 books by the end of the year. Listen, I'm not like other booktubers, you know, I'm different. I'm not like
other booktubers.
I will be very lucky if I read 3 books in a month. Actually, no. 3 books is like an extreme. I will be lucky if I read 2 books in a month. Like, that's good for me. If I can get 2 books done in a month, that's impressive. Because usually I struggle to get 1. If you watch my Midnight Sun video, you will see that it took me 2 months to read Midnight Sun. There is only 2 months left in the year. I can't read a book for 2 months. That's just not gonna work out. Anyway, I sabotaged myself and I'm embarrassed about it, but you know, we're gonna fix it because I, against all odds, will achieve 40 books. I will read 22 books within the next 2 months.
This is what doubt looks like.
I will do it. That was a really long introduction to get to the actual point of this video, which is my TBR, my rest of 2020 TBR. My November, actually no, it's still October. My October, November, December TBR. For anyone who cares, and if you clicked on this video, that means you care. And if you are still watching at this minute mark, whatever it is, that means you care. So without further ado, I think I'm just gonna get into it and tell you the books that I want to read. No, not the books I want to read, the books I'm going to read for 2020. Manifest. You have to manifest your reality.
Period.
Number 1, this book I'm currently reading, use the term currently reading loosely because I think I marked it on Goodreads like a week ago that I was currently reading it, but I actually haven't even started it. I haven't even read page 1. But the book I'm currently reading is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I have a love-hate relationship with Sarah J. Maas. When I read Throne of Glass, I hated it. I don't like Throne of Glass. I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the love interest. I thought that it was bad. I didn't vibe with Throne of Glass. However, I did enjoy A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I have no idea how I will like House of Earth and Blood. I think when it was announced like 2 or 3 years ago, it was pitched as an urban fantasy, which I think is interesting, but also when I read like a fairy book like Sarah J. Maas or like one by Holly Black, I have to take a break from fairy books for like 6 months before I can pick up another one because those kind of books just drain the life out of me. I don't know how I will feel about it. Stay tuned for my feelings.
Okay, moving on.
After House of Earth and Blood, I would like to read Crave by Tracy Wolff. I'm gonna be honest, I picked up this book at Target just because it looked like Twilight. I seriously just want to know, like, how is this allowed to be published? Because, like, This looks like a cover of a Twilight book. I've heard mixed things about Crave. I know that Book Talk really loves Crave, but Book Talk also really loves The Wrath and the Dawn, I think it's called, and I hated that book. So we'll see how I feel about Crave. I love vampires. I honestly feel like there's not enough high quality, good vampire books, so I'm hoping that I will enjoy this. Who knows? I don't. And if I do enjoy Crave, I want to read the sequel called Crush, which I believe just came out within the last month or so. The next book that I want to read is Return of the Thief by Megan Wallen Turner, which is the 6th book in the Queen's Thief series. The Queen's Thief series is severely underrated. It follows... How do I even describe it? I don't even know how to describe that series. It's like very high fantasy. When you think high fantasy, when you think about the tropes in high fantasy, that's what it is. Wait, I don't think there's magic in The Queen's Thief. I honestly don't remember a lot about it from when I read it. I think over a year ago now, but I just remember really liking it, so I'm gonna have to like read a recap on it before I read Return of the Thief. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read this book because this series has been getting published since what year? 1996. It's taken over 20 years for this book series to include, so I have very, very high hopes. Next is The Shadows Between Us. This is a book that I have seen all over Book Talk, literally all over. Whenever a Book Talk comes up on my For You page, which isn't very often, but when it does come up on my For You page, there's like a 50% chance that that TikTok would feature The Shadows Between Us. I have no idea what it's about. It's a YA high fantasy, I believe, but I don't know what it's about. That's gonna be a theme with the next group of books, is I have no idea what they're about. I prefer to go into books not knowing anything about the plot or the story, just because I think it makes for a more pleasurable reading experience. The Shadows Between Us, have no idea what to expect, like literally at all. I think it's a standalone though. I don't believe it is part of a series. The next book that I want to read is The Unspoken Name, another book that I have no idea what it's about. Again, it's a YA high fantasy, I think. Maybe it's an adult fantasy. I'm actually not too sure if it's YA or if it's adult. Yeah, I don't know. But I am excited to read The Unspoken Name because I have heard good things about it. Next, A Song of Wraiths and Ruins. From what I know about this is a West African inspired YA fantasy. I'm very, very excited to read it. Have also heard great things about it. So it sounds like it's like an assassin is trying to kill a princess, which is like very classically YA. We'll see how I feel about this. The next book that I want to read is The Wicked Deep. I think this one is about witches, I think. I'm not too sure about it, but I have a feeling it's about witches. Yeah, witches. We'll see if it's tacky. We'll see if it's actually good. I don't know. Next, From Blood and Ash. This cover looks very similar to The Shadows Between Us. So, I don't know. I think it's a YA fantasy, but also I'm not sure if it's a YA fantasy. Maybe it's an adult fantasy. Don't know what it's about. I'm not gonna look it up. You can look it up if you're interested in it, but I want to go in totally blind. I have never read a book by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I know she wrote that Lux series, never read it, so I don't know anything about her, don't know anything about her writing, don't know anything about this book, but gonna try and read it. And then From Blood and Ash has a sequel, which is called A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which I plan to read if I enjoy From Blood and Ash enough to read the sequel. The next series I really want to read, and I think I'm going to really like this book, so I just wrote down all of the books in the series right away because I'm pretty confident that I'm going to like it. The first book is called A Winter's Promise, and it is part of the Mere Visitors series. This is all originally written in French. Christelle Dabos has 3 of these books already translated into English, and I think the 4th book, the one that came out, I think this year actually, has not yet been translated into English. And I read somewhere that they're not planning on translating it into English until 2021. So I'm probably only gonna read the first 3 books in that series, which is A Winter's Promise, The Missing of Claire de Lune, and The Memory of Babel. Babel. I don't know. But yeah, those are the first 3 books in that series. I also heard about this book when Harry Potter TikTok was a huge thing for a minute. And someone recommended this book because they said that one of the characters in this series reminded her a lot of Draco. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Say no? And then after that, with the theme of that comment that I just made, I want to reread all 7 books of the Harry Potter series. The last time I read Harry Potter was probably in my senior year of high school, so it's been about 4 years since I last read it. I want to time reading Harry Potter at around the end of November, beginning of December, just because the Harry Potter books are basically Christmas novels. And also the Harry Potter movies are basically Christmas movies, so I'm reading it to get in the spirit, you know? I love that I'm reading Harry Potter because that just knocks out 7 books right there. Easy peasy. Don't even have to try to find other books because I've already read them and I already know that I like them. So work smarter, not harder. And then after I read Harry Potter, I would like to read Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. And then after that, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to enjoy Wicked Saints, so I already wrote down Ruthless Gods as my 22nd book. And then if I read all 22 of the books that I just listed, that would be the end of my Goodreads challenge and I would have read 40 books. This is an ambitious list. It's a very ambitious list. If I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't know if I'm gonna get through all of these. December is always really a good month for me in terms of reading books because I am not really doing anything else, so I have a lot of time to read books. So I'm hoping that I can get a lot of these done in December. This whole video is just too optimistic, honestly. Nope. I'm manifesting. I will read a total of 40 books by the end of 2020. I will read 22 books from now until December 31st. I will do it. If you think I can't do it, you're lying to yourself because I can do it and I will do it.
Period.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I apologize if this video wasn't the most exciting. I have no idea how to do a TBR video, and I don't know how to make a TBR video exciting. It's kind of just inherently boring. I'm just listing books that I want to read, and I don't even know the plots of 75% of them, which is embarrassing, but I don't care. Anyway, thanks again for watching this video and getting to the end. It means so much to me, seriously so much. I would really appreciate it if you could comment if you've read any of these books. Comment your opinion about them, negative or positive, because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear positive opinions because that gets me excited to read it, but I would also love to hear negative opinions as well because that gets me also excited to read it, but just excited to hate read it because that just makes me so happy. I don't have anything else to say anymore, so I'm gonna go. Goodbye.